The lobby of Michael Carver's tech startup gleamed with ambition. Two women cut through it, one carrying a sealed manila envelope as if it were a weapon. Inside the elevator, Anna Carver gripped the envelope tighter. Her reflection in the polished steel showed eyes that had stopped asking and started planning. In the conference room, Michael was mid-pitch when the door clicked open. His confident smile froze as he saw who entered.
Anna? What are you doing here? This is a closed meeting.
I'm not here for the founder profile, Michael. I'm here to correct the record.
Miss Carver, I agreed to a profile. This is highly irregular. Who is this with you?
Margaret Chen, intellectual property attorney. We have documentation that affects the patent underlying your investment.
Anna slid the sealed envelope across the polished table. The room's atmosphere thickened into something almost solid.
Whatever she's told you, it's not true. She was just an assistant.
Open the envelope, James. Then decide whose name belongs on that patent.
3 years before the envelope touched the table, the world had sealed itself inside. Anna Carver saw a different kind of lockdown, a flaw in transaction data, a pattern only she could trace. She moved her workstation into her brother's garage. On a whiteboard, they sketched the skeleton of a fraud detection algorithm. Michael pointed to nodes, but Anna corrected the logic. She was the architect. He was the frontman.
Anna, this algorithm could spot fraud before it clears. Banks will throw money at us, I swear. We're in this together. Co-founders, equal shares.
Joint patent. 50-50 equity. Not a handshake. I want it in writing before we register anything.
You code, I sell. We file the patent together, split the shares. You have my word.
Anna coded through silence and stale air. Michael worked the phones, spun investor decks, and kept promising. Her name first until the calls mattered.
The algorithm? It's my design. My sister's helping with the technical implementation, but the vision is mine.
He takes the credit so I can focus. That's the plan. He'd never take the patent.
By year's end, the algorithm was a breathing thing. Every line of code held Anna's logic. Michael owned the pitch, but the invention was undeniably hers. Michael promised the patent would reflect that truth. Anna believed him. Inside that garage, a promise felt like a contract. The algorithm passed every stress test. Anna ran the numbers. The false positive rate was near zero. Michael saw dollar signs.
It's time to file the patent. I'll pull the application together, get it registered. We do this right, Anna.
Both our names on it. I'll review every page before you submit. That's not negotiable.
But Michael had already booked a solo appointment with a patent attorney. He stepped out of the garage, phone pressed to his ear, voice dropped low. A week later, he filed the paperwork for a Delaware LLC, sole member, Michael Carver. Anna's name did not appear on any document.
I haven't seen the patent forms yet. When do we go over them together?
The attorney's still drafting, lots of legal boilerplate. I'll loop you in when it's final, promise.
He's never been good with paperwork. That's why I handle the documentation. He wouldn't cut me out, would he?
Michael took another call from investors, pitching the algorithm as his sole creation. Anna, debugging in the garage, never heard the words he chose. The silence between them thickened. Anna watched her brother leave for meetings, a growing distance that felt like the gap before a fracture. 6 weeks later, Anna scrolled through the USPTO database during a late-night debugging session. The patent listing froze her hands.
Inventor, Michael Carver. No co-inventor. No Anna. No 50-50. Michael, I just saw the patent filing. There's only your name on it.
It's standard procedure. The attorney listed me as primary. You're in the supporting docs. Relax.
He's lying. He never even showed me a draft. The promise was hollow.
December 24th. The Carver family sat around a holiday table laden with roast and triumph.
A $4 million seed round. Michael, you've outdone yourself. I always knew you'd make it big.
We're so proud of you, sweetheart. You worked so hard for this moment.
Smile. Just smile. Don't ruin their perfect Christmas.
That night, alone in her apartment, Anna stared at the cracked coffee mug in her hand. She wasn't going to let this stand. 3 days later, Anna sat across from Margaret Chen, an attorney whose reputation was built on dismantling tech fraud cases. She placed a folder on the desk.
My brother patented my algorithm. I have emails, code timestamps, and a promise he broke. I need to know if this is enough to fight.
Show me everything. In IP theft, the devil isn't just in the code, it's in the paperwork that was or wasn't signed.
I kept a photo of our whiteboard sessions. Michael's in the background, pointing at the same equations he claims were his alone.
That's persuasive. But what about a written agreement? Did you two ever put anything on paper before the patent?
The co-development agreement. We signed it in 2021 after Michael's first promise. He said it was a formality. He signed a notarized co-development agreement. It explicitly states joint ownership of any IP arising from the project.
This is the smoking gun. Notarized, dated, with both signatures. Michael forgot this existed, didn't he?
Margaret flipped through the timestamps, GitHub commits dating back to the first weeks of the pandemic, every logic change initialed by Anna. She closed the folder and looked at Anna. The case was solid. Now they needed a stage, and an audience who could freeze millions. Anna composed the email under Margaret's watchful eye, pitching a feature profile on Michael's success. The real story lay sealed in a folder.
You're a journalist looking for the human angle. Flatter him. James loves to see himself as a mentor.
And when he finds out I'm not a journalist?
By then, he'll be too busy protecting his fund from a lawsuit for fraud.
Anna hit send before she could second-guess herself. The cursor blinked, final as a gavel. James Whitfield's reply came before noon. Intriguing. Let's meet Thursday at 10. My office. He'd taken the bait. The meeting was set. 4 days to become the story.
4 days until I stand in the same room as the brother who erased me. 4 days to reclaim my name.
The evidence packet stays sealed until I open it in that room. Not a moment before. Trust the process.
Anna stared at the envelope. Inside it lay 3 years of truth and the end of a brother's lie. The call from James Whitfield came while Michael was finalizing his investor update. A casual mention of the founder profile froze his hand mid-typing.
A profile? Anna's writing about me? She didn't say a word about this.
I didn't think you'd care. It's just a human interest piece for James.
Since when do you do PR? You've been avoiding me for weeks. What's this really about?
You'll find out on Thursday. James wanted me there, and I said yes, that's all.
Then I'm joining that meeting. I won't let you twist my story behind my back.
Suit yourself. It's your name that needs defending, isn't it? You have no idea what's coming. No idea that Thursday will strip you of everything.
The line went dead. Anna set the phone down, her hand steadier than the pulse hammering in her throat. Thursday morning, the sealed envelope sat on her dresser like a verdict that had already been written, waiting only for the courtroom to convene. Anna woke before the alarm. The envelope on her dresser seemed to hum with the weight of what it carried.
3 years of work. 1 meeting. I will not let him take my name.
Remember, you speak only once I place the evidence. Your silence until then is your power.
And if he just admits it? If he looks at the agreement and says, "You're right, I was wrong"?
Men like Michael don't admit, they deflect until the paper screams. Prepare for that.
They rode in silence, the city sliding past. Anna's fingers traced the envelope's seal, rehearsing each document's order in her mind. The glass tower rose ahead, reflecting a cold sun. This was the place where everything would be exposed.
This is it. No turning back. He made his choices. Now I make mine.
The stage is yours, Anna. Walk in and let the documents speak.
Anna pushed through the revolving door, the envelope pressed against her blazer. The lobby was all glass and ambition, just as she remembered. The security guard glanced at the envelope but said nothing. Anna's focus narrowed to the elevator bank at the end of the lobby, ignoring everything else.
This is the walk I've rehearsed 100 times in my head. The same lobby, but this time I'm carrying the truth.
Remember, his first instinct will be to control the room. Don't let him.
The elevator doors closed, sealing them in a cell of polished steel. The floors ticked upward, each number pulling them closer to the confrontation.
He's up there, probably already spinning excuses before we even sit down. I know his playbook.
Through the glass walls of the conference room, Anna could see Michael leaning forward, mid-pitch, hands shaping an invisible future that didn't belong to him. James sat opposite, his tablet glowing. Neither man noticed the two women approaching down the hall.
One door, one room, one chance to become the story instead of the footnote he wrote for me.
Ready?
Anna's hand closed around the cool metal handle. For a fleeting second, she felt the weight of 3 years. Then she pushed the door open. The door swung wide. Michael's hands froze mid-gesture, his smile cracking like old varnish.
Ah, the journalist. Right on time. Come in. We were just discussing Michael's vision.
No, she's not here to write a puff piece. This is retaliation.
Anna didn't return the pleasantry. She stepped aside, letting Margaret enter behind her, the briefcase heavy with purpose.
Anna, this is a confidential investor meeting. Whatever you want, it can wait.
It can't wait, Michael. James needs to hear this now. I'm sorry for the deception. I'm not a journalist.
Then who exactly are you, and why the pretense?
Margaret Chen, IP attorney. We're here to present evidence that Mr. Carver's patent is based on stolen work.
James's hand stilled on his tablet. The room's temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Michael opened his mouth to protest, but Anna's envelope was already sliding across the polished table. James Whitfield broke the seal with deliberate care. The room fell so silent that the crinkle of paper sounded like a judge's gavel.
These are time-stamped GitHub commits dating to March 2020. Every major logic change was authored by Anna Carver, months before your patent filing.
James's eyes tracked the dates. His pen tapped once, then stopped.
Margaret placed a photograph on top. Your whiteboard, April 2021. You're in the background, pointing at the algorithm you now claim as your own.
Michael's face tightened. That proves nothing. She was just transcribing my concepts.
Margaret slid the final page. Notarized co-development agreement, July 2021. Both your signatures. Joint IP ownership clearly stated.
The document lay there like an accusation written in ink that wouldn't fade.
James adjusted his glasses. Why was she not listed on the patent, Michael?
Michael's voice cracked. It was a mistake, a template I forgot to update. She wasn't ready.
Margaret produced one more exhibit, a GitHub commit from the day before the patent filing, authored by Anna, adding the core fraud detection logic.
James set down the paper and fixed Michael with a stare. Did you build this algorithm alone, Michael? Yes or no?
Michael's mouth opened, but no words came. His hands gripped the table edge, knuckles white.
Margaret pulled out her phone. A text from Michael to Anna, November 2021. The code you wrote for the anomaly layer is genius. Thank you.
The message glowed on the screen, a digital confession that strangled every lie Michael had told. James stood up. He removed his glasses slowly, the wire rims catching the cold overhead light.
I'm calling my general counsel, James said, his voice flat. This meeting is suspended until further notice. He dialed and put the call on speaker. Tom, I need you to review patent documents and a signed IP agreement. Immediately.
Anna watched in silence, her hands folded on the table, her pulse a steady drum of vindication. Michael didn't move. The wire transfer, the investor confidence, the family pride, all of it hanging by the thread of Tom's next words. The conference room became a courtroom, and the verdict was only a phone call away.
This is a setup. You're just jealous because I secured the funding and you got nothing.
Jealous? We have a notarized agreement with your signature. You signed away your claim to sole ownership.
She held up the document, the embossed seal catching the cold overhead light. Tom's voice from the tablet was clinical. The notarized agreement appears valid. The signatures match. Michael's hands went slack. The fight drained out of him in a visible rush.
It's algorithmic. I built the system. She just tuned parameters.
The commit messages tell a different story. Each line of the core engine was written by Anna Carver.
James exhaled slowly. He didn't look at Michael anymore. The tablet screen dimmed. Tom was waiting, but the next decision would come from James. And James's face said everything. The wire would stay frozen. Michael's empire had crumbled.
I'm not going to sue you, Michael. I came here to offer a settlement.
She slid a typed sheet across the polished wood. The terms were concise, and each one was a mirror he couldn't escape.
Full equity transfer to me, removal of your name from the patent, and a public apology to Mom and Dad.
A public apology? You want to humiliate me in front of our parents?
The alternative is a lawsuit that will drain every cent you have, and I will back her fully.
You told them I just helped with spreadsheets. They need to hear the truth. From you.
Michael stared at the settlement as if it were a live grenade. Every word was a detonation he'd spent 3 years avoiding.
This is a one-time offer. Refuse, and we file the complaint tomorrow. There will be no second chance.
His hand hovered over the pen. The room held its breath. Anna's expression didn't waver. She had offered him a lifeline, but it was woven from the truth he had tried to drown.
What if I give you half the equity, but we keep the patent as co-inventors? Clean, no courts.
No, the patent carries the story. As long as your name sits on it alone, the lie stands.
Michael's jaw tightened. He was trying to carve out a version where he still mattered.
Refusal to sign means immediate filing. We'll seek punitive damages. You'll be paying Anna for a decade.
The fund is prepared to support Anna's litigation entirely. This offer is your only exit.
The word exit landed like a stone. Michael's hand hovered, trembling just above the pen. Anna didn't blink. She had outplotted him, outweighted him, and now she was giving him the only mercy left. Silence stretched until the air felt thin. Even the city through the glass seemed to hold its noise. He could see the future without the settlement. Courtrooms, reporters, his name stripped publicly. No version where he came out whole. And then, with a shudder that ran from his fingers to the pen, he picked it up. The pen touched paper with a scratch that seemed to scrape the silence raw. Michael Carver signed his name, each stroke an abdication. The pen lifted. The signature was a crooked, hurried thing, the name of a man who had just erased himself from his own story. Michael slumped back in his chair, the pen rolling from his fingers. He didn't look at his sister. He looked at nothing.
James lifted the document, scanned the signature, and nodded once. The wire remains frozen. The patent will be corrected.
Margaret retrieved the signed settlement without a word, her fingers precise as she slid it into a protective folder.
It's done. His name is gone. My code is mine. So why does it feel like a funeral?
But the silence stretched, heavy with what was left unresolved. The legal war was over, but the family wounds had only just been torn open.
Now you call Mom and Dad. Right now, Michael. You tell them what you did.
Anna opened her tablet and initiated a video call. The familiar tone echoed like a bell rung before an execution. The screen glowed, and Carol Carver's face appeared, innocent and expectant. She was about to witness the end of one lie and the beginning of another silence.
Michael? Anna, you're both there? What's going on, sweetheart?
Mom, Dad, there's something I have to say about the patent, about everything. Anna wrote the core algorithm. Every line. I filed the patent alone. I told you she just helped with spreadsheets. That was a lie.
Carol's face didn't change all at once. It lost something layer by layer. Warmth, then understanding, then the version of her son she'd held for years.
I stole her work, Mom. The 4 million, the parties, the praise. I built it on her code without her name. I'm sorry.
The apology hung in the air, heavy and irrevocable. On the table, the signed settlement still bore his trembling signature. Carol's lips parted, but no sound came. She simply stared at her son through the glass screen. A stranger now,
He said it. Now the real judgment begins, the one that doesn't come from courts or contracts.
The seconds stretched. No one moved. The only sound was the faint hum of the tablet's speaker, carrying the weight of a silence that hadn't yet begun. And then Carol Carver said nothing. For one full minute, the mother who had championed her son became a silent, unblinking portrait of grief. Carol's face remained a mask of stillness. Not a muscle moved, not a tear fell. The silence was absolute. Behind her, George leaned into frame, his brow furrowed. He looked from the screen to his wife, then back, comprehension failing. Michael's head dropped further, his hands limp on the table. He couldn't bear to see what his confession had unmade.
A minute. Just a minute. And yet it's carving years off all of us.
Time thickened. The only movement was the pixelation on Carol's face, the stutter of a frozen connection that wasn't frozen at all. A single blink. A tear finally escaped, tracing a slow path through the faint lines on Carol's cheek. But still, she did not speak. Then her hand, trembling, reached toward the bottom of her screen. Without a word, she pressed the disconnect button. The screen went dark. The tiny red call-ended icon glowed for a moment, then vanished, leaving only the reflection of the conference room. In her living room, Carol sat alone now, staring at her own dark screen. The silence had followed her there. Anna exhaled. The silence had spoken louder than any accusation. The victory was hers, but it had never felt this cold. Michael Carver didn't move. He sat in the glass cage he had built, now empty of everything but the echo of his sister's footsteps. Anna gathered the documents, the signing, the evidence, the photograph, and slid them into the envelope with hands that didn't shake. Margaret's briefcase clicked shut. The sound was small, but in that silent room it carried the weight of a prison door locking. Anna rose and walked toward the door without a backward glance. Michael remained a statue of defeat, frozen at the table. In the hallway, Anna stopped. Through the glass, she saw her brother's reflection, small and bent, a stranger now.
I won. So why does it feel like I lost something I'll never get back?
You did what you had to do. The rest is their choice.
Anna nodded once, then turned away. The glass-walled room behind her receded into a memory she would not revisit. They walked out into a city that hadn't noticed the shift in gravity inside that tower. Anna didn't smile. The cost was carved into the faint lines around her eyes, but her stride was her own again. 6 weeks after the envelope was unsealed, Anna Carver stood in her own office, surrounded by whiteboards she didn't have to share. On the wall hung the corrected patent certificate. Anna Carver, sole inventor. The frame was new, but the truth inside was old. Next to it, she placed the original whiteboard photograph, the one with Michael's blurry figure in the background, a reminder of where the code was born.
This is mine. All of it. No one can take it again. The patent transfer is complete. We're fully funded now. Let's build something that matters.
A small package arrived that afternoon, no return address, but the handwriting was Carol's. Inside, a single photograph, the Carver family at Christmas, frozen in a lie.
Mom sent this. No note. Just the photo. What does it mean?
She set the Christmas photo beside the whiteboard one. 2 images, 2 truths, and a silence louder than any words. The company was hers. The patent was hers. But the family she'd fought to correct was a story still waiting for a next chapter. Anna picked up the whiteboard photo and held it for a long moment. The hurt was still there, but so was the proof of what she'd built. Anna set the whiteboard photo down beside the Christmas one. Side by side, they told the story she would never speak aloud. The office darkened around her. Outside the window, the city was lighting up, but inside, the only glow came from her desk lamp.
I traded a brother for justice. Was it the right trade? I can't know, but it was the only one I could live with.
She stared at the algorithm notes. then at the frozen Christmas smiles. One was her future, the other, a past she couldn't change. The sun slipped below the skyline, leaving a bruise of orange and purple. Anna didn't move for a long time.
The silence from Mom is loud, but I'll match it with my own kind of quiet. The quiet of a life built on truth.
She picked up the Christmas photo, her thumb brushing Carol's image. No note, but a gesture that left a door open, just a crack. She placed it back beside the whiteboard. The two photos, two truths, would stay until she decided which one defined her. Outside, the city hummed, indifferent to her private reckoning. Inside, Anna Carver finally allowed herself a small, quiet breath. And in that breath was a truth no court could grant. She had won herself back. The whiteboard photo rested in her palm, worn at the edges. Anna traced her own handwriting, the equations that had almost been stolen.
I wrote every line. Now the world knows.
She set the photo aside and woke the monitor. The algorithm's dashboard bloomed with real-time data. Transactions scrolled, blocked, flagged, saved. The false positive rate was near zero. In 6 months, it had detected over 2 million fraudulent attempts. The screen faded to black, the statistic lingering in the dark. On the dark glass, Anna's reflection smiled back at her, a quiet, sure smile. She closed the laptop and leaned back. The office was silent, finally peaceful. She picked up the whiteboard photo once more, hiding Michael's blurry figure with her thumb. The algorithm was hers. Her life was hers. And that was enough.